Good afternoon and welcome to another in a series of Saturday Sports Special. What do you know? It's a special Saturday Sports Special. Yeah. Okay. Well, I welcome you one and all, wherever you are, whether you're in Grenada, you're in the Caribbean, you're here in New York, any part of the United States, any part of the world viewing us. Welcome to another series of Saturday Sports Special where we speak to the movers and shakers in sports, including the athletes, sports administrators, coaches, current and past. Well, as indicated late last year, that in 2021 we'll have a lot of focus will be on clubs and the proper club structures, etc., etc. And this weekend we'll start a series of programs where we'll be looking at the various clubs. And when we say clubs, we mean clubs and not teams in Grenada and their complete structure, how they organize. And in some respect, we're trying to encourage, proper club structures, because what we realize is that the lack of proper club structures in Grenada affecting not just performance, but administration as well. So we are hoping that through this program, we can encourage the formation, in some regard, formation of clubs and proper clubs to be exact, and in some instances, restructuring of some clubs. Well, this weekend, our focus will be in the parish of St. David, and we are looking into, if not probably one of the most outstanding clubs, and we're speaking about track and field clubs in Grenada and in the parish of St. David, that's St. David Track Blazers. So on this program, we'll be looking at St. David's Track Blazers. As you recall, they have produced some of the most outstanding and talented track and field athletes in Grenada over the past probably 2 decades, and no doubt we want to know what they are doing, that they have been producing so many outstanding athletes. Well, on our program this weekend, we have the athlete representative, is a member of the executive committee of the St. David Track Blazer, and we welcome Miss Danisha Brathwaite to our program, and she is live in Grenada in the beautiful parish of St. David. Let's welcome Danisha. Good afternoon, Danisha.
Hi, good afternoon, Mikey. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and I see that you're looking well, and everything is looking good on your side. It seems as if no problems, no complaints about the COVID.
Can't complain at all. Can't complain.
Right. Well, it's good to know. Well, I welcome you, and as I indicated, that no doubt St. David Track Blazers, one of the outstanding clubs in Grenada, track and field clubs to be exact. And I say track and field because it's not just while we have known them to produce some top field event athletes, no doubt they have also blazed the tracks. And
True.
Danisha will be giving us some insight into that. So tell us, Danisha, as a start, about something about St. David's Track Blazers, when it formed, and the whole structure of the St. David's Track Blazers as it is now.
Okay. For when track blazers form, I cannot tell exactly dates and year track blazers form, but I know it has to be in the early 2000s. But for sure, in 2010, that's when we developed a body, in the sense that um in the earlier years it has just been the members, the coaches and athletes doing everything, but in 2010 we came along with a structured body where we have the president, vice president, treasurer, and the list goes on. So definitely it's going to be, I will say that the body of track blazers actually started in 2010.
Okay, so we roughly about probably about 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and you will say has accomplished quite a lot in
Mm-hmm.
those in those 10 years, right?
Sure thing.
We will go through accomplishments, achievements of St. David's Trailblazers. But when it was formed, or when the grouping started, and we don't know how loosely it started, but then obviously there was a proper structure. And I've noticed that I was going through and doing some research on Trailblazers, and I noticed that there is a management committee in place, and it
Mhm.
seems as you have meetings as often as possible. Well, prior to
Yes.
COVID, so as often as possible. So tell us a little more about how Trailblazers go about its normal routine as a functioning, well functioning club structure.
Well, normally we have meeting every other Thursday, if I'm right. I it's every other Thursday, or but make sure that every month that we meet. During the COVID times, it has just been, well, we couldn't do much, so it has basically been Zoom meetings. But that's how we go about with our meetings, just every other Thursday. And during the COVID times, all we had to do was Zoom meetings, nothing more. We couldn't do anything like what we wish to do, but that's how it's been like.
Yeah, and it's understandable in terms of in terms of that. But good participation from members.
Hmm. Definitely. Can't complain about the members of the club. Everybody do their parts. Everybody, you know, take their responsibilities, and we go about doing what we have to do. We don't slack on that.
Okay, that's good to know. How important you think is Trailblazers to the community, and when I say community, St. David in particular?
Hmm.
Eh, you know, St. David seemed to be a special, you know, well, it's special in that it's the only parish without a tongue, as they say.
Yeah.
So it seems as if St. David's is one big community, as they will call it. How important you think Trailblazers is to the parish of St. David?
I would say Trailblazers is very, very important to the community. And I don't want to go against your words, but I would even say Trailblazers is very important to Grenada on a whole. In a sense that we don't only look for our athletes on the track, track or the field, but we go as far as helping out our athletes in like providing scholarships, providing assistance where needed. We provide classes. It's not only for the athletes in school. If you finish school and you want to take part in track and field still, you want to be a part of a club, we offer those stuff still. So it is important that the club is important to our community. We bring something to them, and that's how it goes.
And while you're saying that it is important, it appears also that the club also receives good support from the community
Mhm.
as well.
Definitely. We do support. Normally when we go out to our competitions, the parents are there, the supporters are there. We have some of them, we even have the St. David stand when we go down to the stadium. That's how it is. That's how important it is. That's how, track and field is important to St. David's people, because they always look out for our athletes. They always know that St. David is gonna bring something to the table. So, they look out for that.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact of the St. David's posse. you know, whatever there's, whatever sport,
Mm-hmm.
um, whether it's primary school sports, the intersecondary school that's intercall, there is a what
That's it.
people refer to as this the posse, the St. David's posse. And when it comes to the stadium, and especially the track and the Kirani James athletic stadium, there is a specific area in the stadium, close to probably, I think it's more the middle part of it, somewhere there, that tend to hang out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that some of them get there as early as possible and try to secure,
Oh,
but
we just try to get the finish line, but
yeah,
tongue does reach early, but that's okay. We get it already.
yeah. Well, it's nice to know, and one of the things I noticed too is that as you indicated, how much the club means to the parish, and it's not just track and field, but we have seen over the years that even the cricketers have been part of the club in terms of training. I know, for example, Andre Fletcher and others, they train with Trailblazers. I know, well, Rian Radix, who is actually
Yes.
a
He's
referee.
actually my assistant with the athletes representative.
Right, and
Mhm.
he's a referee himself. And though he started as an athlete, by the way, as a national athlete, he also trains and things like that, you know, and he does all his physical as part of the club. So tell us about how the club has been able to spread its wings and um, basically encompassing just about everyone who wants to be part of the club. And while it's say David Track Blazers, it's more than just track and field.
I would say that because normally just recently I was having a conversation with one of our members and I was saying it's not no more St. David's track blazers. It's actually I would say and I would wish sometime down the road that it will actually be St. David's Academy because we host so much. It's not just about the track, not just about the field. You know, it's so much more. But how do we spread our wings? You see, every summer, well, only other summer it was last summer we had a program where so basically is for the kids, but we get along with other sports, cricket, volleyball, netball. We have those other sports come along. So we get involved with every other one. So I would say basically that's how we spread our wings. With the cricketers been around long. Um, Ryan John has been an athlete. Andre Fletcher has always been an athlete. We have people like Preston coming around, and I would say because of the good name of the club, that's how we get along. We get to get other people. Because to my for right, Preston has not always been like a track blazers athlete, but since he came on board, like I guess interacting with Ryan and all those and knowing like the good stuff about track blazers, that's how everyone got the name and coming to train with track blazers. But other than that, I would say the our interaction with the other clubs, meaning the sporting arena, and that's basically it.
Okay. Well, see, Richie is saying my son does his training there, proper structure and serious about the work being done with kids. Richie Oliver, and seems as if some good kudos for what has been happening with St. David Track Blazers. Um, okay, and well done. We are friendly and highly favored.
Definitely.
Yeah, but and I say that because even in spite of the challenges being faced now with the COVID-19, and it appears that Trailblazers, let's say Navy Trailblazers, found itself and found ways of which it can continue the training. Looking at and observing, I should say, observing the safety protocols that are in place. So how can you say that and probably explain to us that St. David's Trailblazers had been able to maneuver, you know, through this pandemic period, and it's well some months now because I think the lockdown would have started April, May, thereafter, and you have been able to ensure that the family, that's the St. David's Trailblazers family, can continue their training throughout the period.
Yes, well, during the pandemic, well, at the start, I must say it was really challenging, because it actually happened the day before national champs, if I remember clearly,
Yeah,
last
right. Yeah,
day before national champs. And most, I'm not gonna lie, the athletes were they were depressed about it. We
they were
even at that,
disappointed.
yeah,
Yeah,
at
they
that
were a
point,
bit disappointed. Yeah.
at that point we even had Albert Reynolds from St. Lucia. He came to Grenada to train for the event, hoping to qualify for Olympics and all those stuff.
Yeah, and,
And
and just by thing clarification, Albert Reynolds is a javelin thrower. Okay,
yes,
yeah, a javelin thrower
mhm,
from Saint Lucia. Yeah,
yes. And it been challenging, and so when everybody had to go home, and for the first few weeks it was not like nothing at all. But we came together. That's when everybody got introduced to Zoom and stuff. We came together a meeting with track blazers, and we decided that something has to be done. So normally we have our group chat with the athletes. So we started sending programs in, and well, if you send programs, some of the athletes not all gonna stick to it, not all gonna do it every day, but we we had like a Zoom, let's say 3 times a week. We'll call like have a Zoom meeting with them, and where we would see the coaches would see they doing their training and stuff and correct where necessary. It wasn't no heavy training, unfortunately, but we did what we have to do. Um, Later on during the lockdown, we got permission from the Ministry of Sports, and we got assistance from the Olympic Committee where we could have start back training, and training start was basically 3 times a day. Basically, the shopping days that were available, that's when we were permission to go training. Um, then we'll have athletes train morning. Up to this day, we still do it where we have athletes training on the morning and those at the evening, just to avoid the crowd. So that's how we went about during the pandemic. As I said, up to this day, that's how we still do it, just to avoid the crowd. We have athletes on the morning time, and we still have athletes on the evening time. But I won't lie, it wasn't easy, but I think during the pandemic we were successful in a sense that we got, as we said, we got the cricketers to even join us in the training. And from that training, we have or famous Andre and Preston passing the yo-yo test, at which I didn't myself didn't know was so hard. I swear I didn't know it was so hard. And like I
Yeah,
know for sure our training had impacted that.
yeah.
And it was really a success. The only thing is that athletes don't get their competition, but training wise we did our best, and I must say I'm seeing the improvement. Even though we didn't get as much as we want, we having the improvement.
And and how demanding it is now. I mean, as you're saying that you have to have a morning session and an afternoon
Yeah,
session. So
it
it
is.
therefore is so much demanding now that everyone wants to be part of the process.
Yep. It is demanding. Even like on morning time, sometimes like we can't control it ourselves because of the amount of athletes we have, and we would like to fit in everybody. So even on that line, we have junior coaches. So some might be on this part of the field, some might be in the gym, the other might be on the courts. We try our best to accommodate everybody.
Ah, wow. Um, Lee Coffee, nice. Danisha, keep up the good works, yourself and members. He says, though I function in the South, I'm still a St. David man.
Definitely, you can't take the St. David's from you.
So that's Lee Coffey, who is also a coach, and it's saying that that. So let's look forward now to, as you said, um, because of the COVID, you had the national champs and even the Trailblazers Invitational. I know every year you try to have something for the parish. All that have been affected. What are some of the immediate plans in 2021? Although we cannot really plan that far in advance because we don't know what is happening, but what it is on the table for St. David Trailblazers in the very near future.
Well, though we cannot do as much because I think speaking from a past athlete's point of view, I know the athletes wish that there could be as much sporting events as possible. Like even if the development meets, etc. I know that they're wishing for that. But since we can't do it, all we have to do is train. And well, hopefully, well, I'm seeing that there's going to be uh Carifta, which I see they postponed it to July. Um, so well, as we know that even if we speak about Anderson, we know every year since Anderson started Carifta in 2012, every year we do have athletes competing for Grenada, and we don't want that to stop, and we don't expect that to stop. So we try our best to provide athletes for that national level. Um, so hopefully fingers crossed that there would be some meet and that we would have at least qualifying for the event. We do have athletes already qualifying. There's just to name one for sure. We have Kelsey Morrell, the shot putter and discus thrower. She is already qualified for Carifta. So we're looking out for that. She also medal in Carifta. So that's something we're looking out for. Other than that, we're expecting athletes to go out on scholarships. We recently had Johnny Thomas go out on a scholarship. She just left recently, maybe a week ago. And so that was one of our plans for 2021, and we already accomplished that. So we're already in a good start. We're looking at Jared Sylvester. Hopefully he could go out as soon. Then we're looking into the Olympics. Anderson Peters, Lyndon Victor. They all St. David's born. So, those are things that we're working in hand to hand with. They were here training, and they recently went back, but we work along the club, work along with them. Coach Paul Philip work along with them. The athletes rep reach out to them and make sure that everything is going okay. So those are plans. Other than that, education wise, we reach out to our students or athletes, sorry, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be always athletes, student athletes. It comes in hand in hand. So we provide classes for them. We have the English class and we have math classes. So we do that. Other than that, we have the extending of the gym going on right now. We um we have programs. One thing for sure, which is a major highlight for us, we have para athletes now, and that is so amazing. We have two para athletes with us, Shondell and Rick, Nickel. We have those two athletes coming along with us, so it's amazing that we're working along with the para committee. So we're looking hopefully that we could get a meet so that they could qualify, and I promise you, I know, fingers crossed, they're gonna qualify. Um, as I said, that we have junior coaches. Um, we have junior coaches doing programs. They're even doing programs with the para committee in Japan. We have I myself, I'm doing a course right now. Well, I finished a course with the gender leadership, NACAC gender leadership. Um, we have major things going ahead. We're hoping that the coaches could be qualified, the junior coaches could be qualified, because the way things going right now, Paul Philippines staying with us. So we're hoping that we could fill in his shoes. Like I said, the extending of the gym. And that's going forward. That's how it's looking for 2021, because there's not much we could do sports wise, but we're doing much as we can for our athletes' sake.
Okay, so you do have junior, as you said, junior coaches who are basically understudying Paul Phillip, um,
Yes.
and is expected that at some point in time, because I recall that the I think it's Josh is Josh Hazard, I think.
Mm-hmm. Past
Um,
athletes as well. Character medalist, shot put.
right, and he would have I think he accompanied one of those
This
athletes. That's,
Hazel-Ann.
and I think he also went. One of those coaches went with Ishana Charles, who's
Yes,
a para.
Stacey and Shauna Charles.
Oh,
Yes, he went
Stacey,
to Japan.
yeah,
Yeah, he went to
Japan,
Japan
right,
with her.
right,
Mm-hmm.
which is good, and so it seems as if there's something that is working, and as you say, there's that long-term vision for Trailblazers in terms of handing over the baton, and when Mr. Phillip is not available anymore, that there is a succession. There are those who are there waiting, and I see that Miriam is saying that thank God for our hard-working coaches and our parents and athletes who always make the extra effort to keep our number one club, to keep our club on top, our number one club on top, right? Yeah, so going back to the point being made there, for that you have structures in place to ensure that there is continuity. And let's speak a bit more about the whole aspect of, as you say, they would not be student athletes for, you know, the remainder of their lives, and you're basically preparing them for after the fact, right? And therefore, you have, as you said, you have the classes that are available, helping them in some respect with the academics, and showing that those who are in a position to pick up scholarships can pick up scholarships. So let's talk a little bit more about the co-curricular activities of Trailblazers.
Well, for those who didn't know, Trackblazers is sponsored by the Petna Foundation, which is Mr. Brathwaite, Nicholas Brathwaite's son, and the Home Pride Bakery. The club now, we every year we sponsor well, I wouldn't say sorry about that. Every year we sponsor athletes. We give athletes scholarship, and to the point, secondary and tertiary. So secondary college, we provide athletes with scholarship. We're hoping, hopefully by September 2021, we could extend it to primary schools. So that scholarship goes to primary, secondary, and tertiary education. Other than that, as I said, with the these classes. We have Miss Victor, which is the president. Myself, we have Leon Hazard. Before the COVID, we normally had the study halls. We call it study halls. We normally had the study halls at the current government school. But because of the COVID, we have to take in our athletes bit by bit. So now we normally do it upstairs in the office at Blasages. On Saturdays, Mr. Fraser, who was a past teacher at the St. David Secondary, who is now a teacher at TAMCC, he provides classes for the athletes on Saturdays. Other than that, I must say thank you to the Grenada Athletic Association because they normally send out emails when there are courses to do, and we when we get them, we take the opportunity as the senior ones around the club. We take the opportunity to further ourselves, to even help further the athletes, so that we could guide along the athletes. Because at the end of the day, sometimes I do a course and 2 years down the line, another athlete do the course as well. So I could be able to help them. So all in all, we're doing just fine with the co-curriculum activities. So we're okay with that.
So nice to hear. And that is what, I'm talking about in terms of the proper club structure, and as indicated, this is what Grenada is lacking to some extent. And by extension, we do not have the quality sports administrators that we are yearning for, and hoping that the example of Trailblazers, that's the St. David Trailblazers, could really, what I should say, improve what we are getting in terms of, sports administrators in
Mhm.
Grenada. And just to give some background to your sponsorship, as you said, you're sponsored by um, Dr. Earl Brathwaite, Nicholas Brathwaite, who is the son of the late Prime Minister of Grenada. That's Nicholas Brathwaite. And also, you said, Earl Brathwaite, through his foundation, Petner Foundation, and also it's a Home Pride Bakery.
Yes.
Home Pride Bakery. Is it a St. David's brand? Home Pride Bakery is a St. David brand?
If I'm correct, the Home Bite Bakery is the bakery in Westerhall of
West
said
Hall.
Foodland.
Right. So that's good to know. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue the discussion with because I noticed that sometime last year during the pandemic, that, and you made mention of giving back to the community, that the Trailblazers, St. David Trailblazers, provided hampers to members of the community. Give us a little background on that on that initiative.
Well, during the pandemic, as we all know, some of well, mostly everyone was home, other than essential workers, and St. Davis is not one of the rich communities, I should say, the top of top, the rich communities. So we reach out to our athletes, and not just athletes, some of the families in St. David's that are mostly less fortunate. We give as much as we can. So we decided to come together, prepare hampers, and give out to the communities. We made sure every one of our athletes who's registered athletes, athletes that pass through, those athletes that pass through, and we made sure and reach out to all our athletes, whether by phone call, all those stuff. But surely we went to each and every house. We drive around the community. Well, we don't only have athletes in St. David's, but our athletes go as far as Telescope. In St. Andrews, we go as far as Happy Hill in St. George's. So we had to drive around and reach out to each and every one of our athletes door to door to provide to them their hampers. And it was a success. We got positive feedbacks, crying, some was hugging us, some thank you, because it was a hard time for not just us but for everyone in Grenada. So we had to do our part. We couldn't sit there and have our at least have our people just home and nothing going on for them who's hungry, who needs something. We had to reach out. It wasn't only food stuff, it was essential stuff just for around the house. So it was something that we're proud of at St. David's. We didn't expect that kind of feedback, but the feedback we got was something. really amazing. And we're not going to stop here. It's not going to be just for the pandemic. It's something that we're going to continue throughout the years to come.
Well said, and I hope that the folks in the community, and I say community and not communities, because I consider St. David as a big community, a big community, you know.
Mhm.
But well done and kudos. When I saw it, um, well, the photos and things like that. So, and I thought it was a very good initiative, especially at this time. And as you said, it's all about giving back to the community because you know, St. David's Trailblazers have been well supported by the community, and even to an extent, there are folks in um, the nearby parish of St. Andrew who also
Supported.
provide, yeah, and give them a lot of support, and that is important. Coach Philip is doing a beautiful job, a no nonsense person and hungry for results and seeing persons excel. That's Richie Oliver saying that.
So true, though.
And there must be a reason why Richie will take his son
Listen,
and
that's
send
Kyle's
him,
dad.
yeah, and send
I
him
think
there.
so.
Hi, Samantha, hello to you. Yeah, so I assume that there must be a reason, and I'm certain that Richie will want to probably give some more. While we were speaking, just to let you know that I received a message from Kirani James that his coach, that's Harvey Glantz, his mom passed away today, and we want to extend condolences to Harvey Glantz and family. And thanks for the information, Kirani, that Coach Glantz mom passed away. Danisha, we were speaking about what Trailblazers have been doing over the years. And, I go back to probably 6 years ago, and, I came across, some of these, and some of the folks, we probably may know them, and all of that is part of what has been happening with, say, it's in Davis Trailblazers over the years, and, the where it actually started to where it is now.
Mikey,
Um,
you have to send them pictures to me.
so, but do you? And I said that because I knew when I had a tour of the facilities and what they were doing with Trailblazers some time ago, way back when. In terms of the gym facility, for example, guys were just hauling iron, and there wasn't a proper
Mhm.
gym facility. What it is it like now in terms of you know as a gym for Trailblazers? Is it still what it was probably 5-6 years ago, or there has been an improvement?
Well, in a sense of the equipment in the gym, no, it's not like it was 5 years ago, boys pressing iron. We did we must commend the Ministry of Sports, we must commend the Grenada Athletic Association and the Grenada Olympic Committee because oh Lord. Because they had sponsored us or gym equipments or weights or weight rack or stools, everything they had gave us that. We recently and this morning the athletes went out to train. We officially now has a high jump mat in St. David's, and which we have been longing for years. And I must say that is a big improvement. Um, we now have a container thanks to the Ministry of Sports where we store our equipment, proper storage for our equipment. So the cones, the all the throwing equipment, the high jump mats, everything, we store them in there. One of the plans for 2021, which will be starting soon, is the extension of the gym. So we're not going to remain the same. We're not the same anymore. We're moving forward, and those are the things that's going on. As I said, the gym is on its way to becoming a bigger and better gym.
Oh, well, good to hear that. And I know it will be good news for those who have interest because, as I said, it, while it looked primitive at that time, it was, surprisingly, it was producing results. You
Yep.
were getting the results. So
Sure thing.
sometimes it's not what you have, but it's how you make use of it. And good to see that something is being done. um, I don't know if you might be able to answer this, but Rudian Sylvan is asking, what scholarship do you give to student athletes? Um, I'm not certain if you are in a position to provide any answer to that.
Well, as I said, we provide scholarships to our secondary and tertiary education students. We're hoping to extend it to our primary school level in a sense that we provide them with school uniforms every year, and we provide them with monetary contributions. So we make sure that they have lunch, we make sure that they have money, So that's what we do offer. After the tertiary education meaning TAM-CC.
Okay.
Since they're in Grenada, that's what we do. Um, we and for when they go abroad, what we do is, we do our best so that they could pass the SATs, do good to get a full scholarship. When athletes reach in situations that they're not capable, then we reach out and help in whatever way that we can.
Mhm. All right. So I think he says thank you. That's good. And blessings to you, Danisha, and Trailblazers. And something that you said earlier, which I think is very important, is and as athlete representative, is ensuring that you can, or you do keep in contact with those who travel overseas, especially those who are on scholarships or those who are part of the club, but probably professional athletes like the Anderson and Lyndon and others, because I know it's becoming a bit of a issue now where there is concern that when the athletes leave their shows, leave the island, that there is this lack of communication between the athlete and those in Grenada. Speaking about the authorities, in this case, probably is like the association, but it's good to know that Trailblazers keeping in touch with their constituents, and that is a very important aspect, because I noticed that that's my friend, my good friend, Ron Boyce of well, he's formerly of Barbados, but he's a former coach of Missouri State University, and you're saying that one of the problems that they do have is a lack of communication with athletes. That when they leave, and he was using Barbados for example, when they leave Barbados, that the athletes do not hear from the authorities again, and sometimes the authorities believe it's the athletes that should be contacted, where it should be the other way around. That. But it's good to know that you living up to your commitment in ensuring that you keep in touch with the athletes. An important point I want to bring up, though, is that in all that we speak about, and we speak about the facilities, whatever, and St. David's Trailblazers producing so many outstanding and talented athletes over the years, still without a proper home. Do you think it's time that St. David's Trailblazers have somewhere where they can call their home, whether it's a proper track, as you say, gym facility, or something that can really reflect the accomplishment and achievements of St. David's Trailblazers over the past decade?
Well, Mikey, to be honest, Trailblazers and everyone in Trailblazers for sure, I know for sure, would support me with this. Las Vegas is home to Trailblazers. Las Vegas, there's no other. There are other communities in St. David's, but Las Vegas is home to Trailblazers. We're in Las Vegas 24/7, as especially Coach Paul. 5 a.m. he's in Las Vegas. 9 p.m. you can find him in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is home to us. Normally we're there. We the others we're there roughly around after 8 until after 5, 6 in the evening. Um, Only thing, as we said, the extension of the gym. That's what we're hoping for. The lights, we're praying for lights to come in last just because the way our mini sports turns out. I know if we have lights and we go into the nights, it's gonna be a vibes in St. David's. And it's been years we've been praying and hoping that that come true. We get lights in Massachusetts. If we get a track in Massachusetts, that would be amazing. That would be so awesome. It'll just be like a mini stadium in St. David's, and that'll be home to everything. But as I said, Massachusetts is home. There's no other home to us than Massachusetts. We cannot go anywhere. We cannot go in Bellevue. We cannot go in any other playing field in Massachusetts. We would train in the other areas if we have to, but Massachusetts is home, and whatever we have to do, we want to do it in Massachusetts because that's what made us, and that's where we're going to continue.
But on the flip side, um, St. David's, while has produced so many outstanding track and field athletes, and there's a good case for trailblazers to make, the parish has also produced a number of outstanding cricketers, the Andre
Yes.
Fletcher and others, the Ryan John and others. So how could there be a balance between that and even the cricketers probably wanting Lassages to be their home for cricket in the parish?
Mikey, we don't have no issue with sharing. We've been sharing from day one. We just have our schedules where the cricketers would come in at a time, the footballers would come in at a time. Is no issue. Imagine we had lights in St. David's and we have a T10 going on, a T20, sorry, going on. That would be so good. I know Las Vegas is home to many things. We as I said, as we partnership with cricket, we have Coach Ray Duncan, who's normally there training his athletes every morning. Normally on Saturday he spent the day and also just training his athletes. So it's not an issue, and it's something that we would like. Normally, when there's cricket, we stay back. We the athletes, the coaches, everybody, we stay back and support our cricketers, even if it's our cricketers, if it's St. George's cricketers, whoever cricketers, we stay back and support because it's not just about track and field as per se, but it's about sports in general.
Mhm. Yep. that's that's good to know. And but I still believe that as you say, I understand that you can coexist, but I'm talking about having a track, a proper track,
Mm-hmm.
and in that respect, you may not be able to have a track where
Or maybe we could think about buying some land around and
well, that could be that is what I'm thinking about, where probably they could have
Mhm.
whether Lassages could be for the cricketers, cricket and football, and or cricket in particular, and some other place, probably Malmont or somewhere.
Yeah.
There's so many places in St. David, that but
Mount is coming along fine though. I must say, I've been down there and it's looking proper.
so, but I'm looking on the side where just as how there has been talk for something in the parish of St. Andrew, no doubt St. David has produced its fair share of outstanding athletes and track and field athletes, and it will be an honor at least to have something for them to continue. But as we said, not everyone could. Probably St. Andrew could make a case, Carrick can make a case, everybody can make a case.
Yeah, true.
It's all up to the resources and thing that's available. But it's something to think about. But from my point, I really want to commend Trailblazers for what they are doing. And I said, not just on the field, but as indicated by you, what they have been doing in the communities, for example, the giving back, the hampers, providing the co-curricular activities for those who are in a position to receive. And I'm hoping that, there will be success for Trailblazers going forward. And as Richie has been putting some kudos, Richie Oliver rather, putting some kudos onto the whole structure of St. David Trailblazers. How often? Well, you said about you try to have meetings at least every other Thursday. But in terms of in how it is now in the Constitution, is it every 2 years you have an annual general meet? Well, not annual general meeting, but you have the meeting to elect or officers. Is it
Yes.
a 1 year, 2 year, 4 year cycle? Or what it is
Have
every
it on the dot 2 years.
every 2 years? Okay, every 2 years. So the current executive, when the when do we expect their term to expire, or when do we expect new election to be called for a new executive?
So it will most likely, well, sometime this year. I'm not too sure of the month, the date, whatever, but it would happen this year. We're supposed to have a general election this year.
Mhm. And we may have missed it earlier, but can you give us the structure again and the people who hold the various positions of Trailblazers?
No problem. We have the president, which is Kathleen Victor, the vice president, which is Mr. Andy Andrew. We have the secretary, which is Miss Edlyn Ruffin, the treasurer, um, Risa Mason, the PRO, Kwame Hippolyte, the parents rep, which is Miss Wendy Judge, also a home pride worker, the athletes rep, myself and Mr. Rion Radix, and the coaches, the head coaches, Dennis Williams, Paul Phillip, junior coaches. We have Josh Hazard, myself, Joshua John, Makim Felix, and that's about it.
Oh, so
Josh Hazard, sorry.
Josh Hazard, yeah. So you do have a structure where you have a parent rep, you have an athletes rep, okay? Um, but I mean, I know about the athlete rep, but I didn't know about the parent rep. That's pretty outstanding. Let me see. We also need lights so sport can be more aggressive, especially for late races and other activities. Okay, Mr. Sylvester, the appeal is being made for lights, and I think Hazel is now on the scene, and she's saying, "Hello, Danisha. It's great seeing you." And obviously a product of St. David, and I am assuming that Hazel will be one who will be making that call for proper facilities for not just Trailblazers but St. David in particular. And
Yeah.
I say St. David, but through Trailblazers who can could make that clarion call, because I think as the leading club, one of the leading clubs on the island, and especially in the parish, it's important that you make the appeal, and they may probably provide the assistance. They may not be able to. As I think Rudian is asking, how can outside help? And I don't know if you dare to provide a response in terms of if folks on the outside, and you're referring to those outside of Grenada, willing to assist Trailblazers, how can they assist? In what areas do you think that Trailblazers will need assistance? How can they get in contact? How can they provide assistance to the club?
Well, we do we offer assistance with open hands. If I was to say, I would say we, in a sense, that we need assistance. Maybe athletes needing spikes, throwers needing the shoes, um, proper training wear, those stuff. We do hopefully would get in our new set of uniforms sometime soon. Um, we do have a number of events. We the late Marvin John, which was one of the starting members of St. David's Trailblazers. We do have a race every year for him, in remembrance of him. The day he died, so we normally have a road race which starts at Wester Hall and ends in last. And sorry, my bad. Which starts at Wester Hall and ends in Latins. Um, we do take normally the athletes get monetary contributions. Well, the winning prize is monetary. Um, first place, second place, third place, fourth place, the youngest athletes, the oldest athletes, and number of stuff. The our sports, we do offer, we do give them monetary prizes as well, alongside with other prizes. So in any way that you think that you could help us, we have open hands to it.
All right. There you have it, Rudian. And Andre Fletcher is saying that we train with Trailblazers. So obviously, Andre and the boys, as Andre is part of the Trailblazers family, and actually watching the program from his hotel room in Abu Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi. Congratulations, Andre, on your victory today. Was a nice game I looked at. That's captain of the team, the Bangla Tigers. Congratulations on your victory. I know you were in the you were taking some heat for the defeat in the opening game, but
Yeah.
congratulations on that victory and actually top scoring for your team. But as a member of the Trailblazers, he's saying that they do train and has indicated that they most of the Ryan John and others, they all did their physical. When it comes to their physical, they do it as part of Trailblazers. I recall Andre and Ryan and I think was another two cricketers doing their drills. And it was at the Las Angeles playing field, and it was among the Trailblazers family. So I think Trailblazers also providing assistance in not just, as you said, with the track and field athletes, but also the cricketers. Now you with the para athletes, and I guess there are those who want to just keep fit, like Letitia,
Mm-hmm.
for example. I think Letitia, she
She
she goes,
started, yes.
yeah, she goes there to do her physical, you know. So anyone who wants to be part of the process can contact Trailblazers. Do you have a structure in place where folks can make contact if they're interested in, as indicated by Rudian, for example, if they want to provide assistance? If they're on the outside and they want to provide assistance, if they're in Grenada, they want to be part of the process, they want to be part of the club. How can they make contact with the club? Who can they contact? Who's the point person for them to contact?
Well, we do have our Facebook page, which is St. David's Track Blazers. So you can always reach out for them. You can look out for a response within the next 24 hours. We do provide top response, so you can always reach out to us there. On the page itself, you will see our email. So you can always send an email to us and we will contact you.
Okay. Um, yeah. So as you said, you can contact the folks on the Facebook page. And I tell you, if you go to the Facebook page, you'll find a lot of information. And I hope that the admin can continue updating and providing information, because I was able to get some information about the club. Not a lot, but some that was adequate enough for me to be you know, have some interest, I should say. But I want to go back on some of the, I know you keep smiling at those things, but it shows the commitment and the dedication of Trailblazers, and in terms of um, those who want to be part of the process, in terms of whether it's a coach, whether it's an athlete, and in that mix, there's not just athletes. You have those who double. For example, as we said, Ryan John started as an athlete.
Yep.
Ryan John in Carifta. I remember Ryan John participating, representing Grenada at the Carifta Games.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan John is now a national cricketer. And there's hope that what we're seeing here can continue, even though some of those photos are probably 5 years old, 5, 6 years old. It's something that can actually continue, and that Trailblazers can continue to attract, the especially the young ones. And I know that the even to the extent as we indicated that they're hoping that even to extend your assistance to the primary schools, you know. As we see there, that I think that's made. It seems to be Josh. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
Josh Hazard. That's
Yeah,
it.
Josh Hazard. As you know, these guys are multi-talented. So, so you will see them with the shot put, you'll see them with the discus, and you'll also see them with the javelin.
Yep.
And
Even
that's
see them on the track.
right, and you'll see them on the track. And that is something that I think Trailblazers can boast of, and I'm certain that Mark will,
Mark.
Mark will be upset with me. Mark, I have no regrets with that one. I know that's a couple of years ago, but again, as you see, that was prior to having the proper facilities, and those guys were basically, because of the conditions, they actually had to bring the gym on the outside. So here it was, as you see, it's a makeshift. thing where he was using the uprights, and again, as I'm saying, that these are things that if you believe you can provide some assistance, you watching, and you believe you can provide some assistance to trailblazers, please do so. And finally, here's one. That's Anderson Peters, and with Paul Phillip at the back. I am not certain who is the female. If it's not, it's Candisha.
That sure, sure
Right.
thing,
So
Candy.
Candy, yeah, Candy is there, and as you know, they are both Anderson and Candy. I recall in 2016 cup medals for Grenada at the Carifta Games. In fact, record-breaking,
Record, yeah.
record-breaking performances for Grenada at the Carifta Games in 2016. And it obviously had to do with the javelin. Going through the motion, and Anderson is doing it. Candy is looking on. So all part of the development process. I'd say David's trailblazers. Some of the comments coming in. Let me go to some of the comments that are actually coming in. We have the difference between a club in name only and a club with a name, structure, and organization, diversity of trailblazers governing body is the time of template others can and should follow. I can't say exactly who it is. I can't give credit to that. And how can we help student athletes with the transition from high school to college in the US? How can we help student athletes with the transition from high school to college in the US? As a former athlete yourself, Danisha, do you think you can provide some insight into how that can be done?
Well, I'm not to 100 on the transition because I was not one of the athletes who got a scholarship to go to the US, but what I do know in assistance, you can always reach out to the athletes. We normally highlights our athletes, so you could always reach out to the athletes personally. You could reach out to us if you need to get to our athletes. The SATs, I think that most of our athletes need assistance, whether it be money wise or need like assistance in general, because the SATs are something that they need to prepare for, and it takes a while. We have some that even do classes to go take the SATs. So as former athletes, as Hazel-Ann herself, a former athlete, a former student athlete who've been through the process, I myself, like if I was in a situation and I needed assistance, just somebody to speak to me, somebody to walk me through, I would like the assistance. So I think that's where they're going to need that kind of assistant. They would need that kind of assistant there.
Okay. Um, Richie said we are hoping to be the first club to have a competitive meet in these times. And these times, I assume you're referring to the pandemic, COVID time. And I say we, as a parent in the club, and we will be live for all to see our talent. I hope I'm not putting Coach Phillip on the spot. I don't think so. I think any opportunity to provide the public with information is welcome. Hazel is saying, thank you, Danisha. We can probably start a virtual tutoring for this SAT. And as Hazel is saying, talking about a virtual tutoring, I think COVID would have provided this opportunity where probably we're not thinking about all along. And because of COVID, as you say, some people are having meetings. I can be part of the club, for example, and I do not have to. It doesn't mean that I have to travel to Grenada to be part of the meeting.
Yeah.
You know, we can have a meeting every week, every other week, and I can be part of the process. And I think the advantage, COVID is a devil, but the advantage or some of the advantages COVID provided is something like that, where you can afford to have, as Hazel is suggesting, a virtual tutoring where can bring together the students, and most of them are tech savvy, so they probably have access to Zoom or whatever it is, and provide tutoring to them. Who would have probably thought about that a year or two ago? You were probably thinking about having to be in Grenada, have a physical, structure in terms of a classroom, etc., etc. Now, you can have a virtual class where the same black chalk and blackboard can be part of the process in terms of tutoring on Zoom with slides and etc., etc. So that is something I think obviously you will want to think about and take up from Hazel's suggestion. It's time to include ACT and not just taking the SAT. Well, some will say the ACT, some will say the SAT, some will even say the GPR, whatever it is, or the others. There are so many these days. But the fact is, as suggested by Hazel, is that through Trailblazers, you can look at expanding your program to include a virtual tutoring geared specifically to assist the students. I recall some years ago, Fontenoy United Sports Club through Ram Folks provided tutoring to their footballers, and many of those footballers eventually went on to complete first degrees and in some instances master's degree, and I'm seeing an opportunity here, albeit in those well, during that time they were basically doing it in a classroom. I am seeing an opportunity where Trailblazers, through their virtual tutoring program, can provide access to many of its students, student athletes to be exact, and having some of their former athletes like Hazel, who's a teacher by profession, and and others who will be able to assist and give something back. And Hazel is saying, yes, I can assist with the virtual tutoring. I'll reach out and brainstorm ways we can do this. So Danisha, the ball is in your court. You have the information, and it's up to you now to pass it on to your executive committee.
Sure thing.
Yeah. All right. Good going, Richie. Yeah. So as we go forward with some of the plans for 2021, and it just seems as if Richie may have let the cat out of the bag a bit, but I don't know if you wish to elaborate a bit on the competitive meet that is part of the plans for Trailblazers for 2021.
Well, I would believe that he's talking about the St. David's Trailblazers Invitationals.
Okay.
Um, we are not 100% sure on if that it will be happening with the whole pandemic thing. We are hoping that it would, because up till late last year we started having the development meet, but because of the whole shutdown again, then it went right back to where it started. So we were hoping that we could have the invitationals, but we're not 100% sure as yet. So we're looking to see how things go. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. But I think Richie may know a little more, except especially where he has been pioneering and being part of the process of football and the cricket, and all the live streaming of those events. So I think he may have an idea of what it probably will take to ensure that it's a success. I assume for now it has to do a lot with the crowd and who, how many people are allowed, and just as how football was able to ensure that they observe the protocol, cricket the same thing, and I think it shouldn't be a problem for track and field. And as he indicated, is hopefully it could be probably the first competitive indoor track and field meet started here in the US. There is no doubt that probably competitive track and field could start in Grenada
Yeah.
very near future, but I assume it's something that they're working on. Let's get into some specifics now, Danisha, in terms of Trailblazers, and who are some of the names, if you can probably name some of the names that we probably uh, either familiar or unfamiliar with, past and present. Let's start with the past. Some of the past um, athletes who would have come through Trailblazers or who would have blazed the track for Trailblazers over the years. Who are some of those?
Okay. When I first I'll firstly say the person that actually put St. David's Trailblazers out there, I would say, I could be wrong, but I would say Shamir Thomas from Latin St. David's. He had been he won medals at Carifta 11 times. Well, not 11 times, sorry, but he won 11 medals at Carifta with the discus and shot put. We have people like Kieran Francis, which is he was the javelin national javelin record holder. He won medal at Carifta. He set a record with the hep. That time the guys did hep at Carifta. He set a record at the hep. We have Alain Lett, which he won gold medal with the hep with Carifta as well. We have Hazel-Ann Regis. We have Kenika Beckles. Funny how it is. I was just this morning I was looking at a video with Sherry Fletcher. She won the NCAA Women's 100 in 2007. I remember me as a little girl watching that growing up. You know, we have those people. We have Colleen Felix. We have, on top of my head, we have Lucy Fortune. We have Teddy Bear. That's Kenisha.
Yeah.
Um, we have Jackie and Maureen. So we have a few. We have quite a few to name. We can't name all, but we have a few athletes that been out there, been representing Trailblazers and represented Grenada well.
And currently, who do we have currently?
Whew. Currently, let's have Candice Scott. I know Candice is at a meet this weekend. I'm not too sure of her results if she took part today or tomorrow, but I know she's at a meet this weekend. Um, we have Jonia Thomas. We have Jared Sylvester. We have Josh Hazard. We have Josh Hazard. We have the two para athletes that is making their name. They coming up. I promise you, look out for them. They coming up. We have same Ryan John. We have the Ryan John. We have Roland Cato. We have Preston. We have same Andre, and we have to look out for them in the Super 50. They call the games. The cricket games coming up in Antigua soon. We have to look out for them. We have Anderson Peters, the famous Anderson Peters with
You were calling and you were wondering who else I'm missing out, and
um,
I didn't hear the world champion name call as yet. So I was wondering. Yeah.
yeah, we have the world champion Anderson Peters, and Anderson has been winning medal at a national level from since 2012 up to this date. He do have two college meets coming up, and then the we have the championships. Hopefully, see they making complaints about it, but believing that there would be Olympics. Well, there would be Olympics. Fingers crossed. So we're looking to go out there and get his title, his new title, which would be Olympic. He would be
Right.
the Olympian, first time Olympian.
Yeah, and there's also Lyndon Victor, right?
Lyndon. Oh
So,
yeah.
so, so you do have in the midst, you have current world champion. You also have a Commonwealth Games champion. Um, and
Just to name one. Cut has not always been a member of Trailblazers, but when he come, he do train here, so we consider him as family as well.
I said, oh, so while we were speaking there, Kwame is saying that the PRO of the Trailblazers, that this St. David Trailblazers, he actually said that the Trailblazers Invitational will take place in 2021. That's this year in one form or another. And then Simon Ross is very pleased with St. David's Trailblazers. For those who've seen SDTP, it's St. David's Trailblazers. If you see SDTB, it's St. David's Trailblazers. If you see TB, it's Trailblazers. Two of my boys are training with them. Coach Paul and others give their all. You become part of one big family when you start training out there. Simon Ross, thank you very much for your comments. And no doubt. So going back to the names, as you say, quite a bit of
Mhm.
names that you call, and I'm certain you would have missed. You know,
Yes.
I am
I
certain
feel
when
bad
you
for it.
finish. Yeah, when you finish. So, as I do in all my programs, when I come across these things, is to encourage the folks to, if they can document, these things, document it. Find a way of where you can document. You can probably, you know, put up a wall of fame on your Facebook page, for example. And it's easy because if you miss out a name, you could always add it. You can edit,
Mhm.
you know. So folks can go up and actually see, and they might tell you, well, what's about this person? What's about that person? And you can always add their names once it can be verified. And I think that will be something that can be done, where you go up on the Facebook page and put up the names, and if in some instances you can get photos of them or whatever it is, but something where people can see who are the people who would have excelled, who would have passed through Trailblazers, and you know and probably may have been forgotten over the years, but they would have made their contributions not just to Trailblazers but to track and field in Grenada. And I think it's something I always try to encourage, that, because we can sit here and talk for the whole day, and every time you might remember someone's name, but until such
Yeah.
time that you can put something together, and even over a period of time you might be getting names, and you might be adding, you can edit, and these sort of things like that. So but I think it's something that you as the athlete rep can bring again to the management committee, to get them to do, because I think the history of Trailblazers and track and field in St. David should be written, and no one should be shortchanged. As Hazel is saying, definitely a Hall of Fame, also a directory of athletes with info. Yeah, that is what I'm really getting at, where you can know where to find some of these athletes, because, as you said, quite a bit of these folks are living in the diaspora, for example, and some way or the other, if they can assist, if they know in any way they can assist, they will probably want to assist. And I think it's something that you should look forward to. You in agreement?
Yeah, yeah. For sure. I'm just jotting down things in my brain for sure though.
Okay, right. And there's a question: are there any athletes outside of Trailblazers club who in training with that organized body? If not, will the club welcome such?
We have a number of athletes who are not registered athletes with us, but they train with us free of cost. Like for example, we have athletes from Carriacou that comes down. Well, during they haven't come down in a while, but we have athletes that come down to train with us. So we do welcome. We have a number of athletes from various schools that pass by, and they say that they want to train, and we welcome them with open hands. So it does not. You don't have to be a member to come train with us.
Okay, and just for clarity, we say St. David's Trailblazers, and sometimes it's associated with the St. David's Catholic Secondary School to an
Mhm.
extent, but it appears to be a myth, because it's not just St. David's Catholic Secondary School. You also have the student athletes rather, from the West Hall Secondary School, as an example, right? As part of the process.
Yeah, well, you see now, I think it's not a mix up, but what the club came about by Miss Maudlin Ferguson. She was the one that decided that a club should come in place, because at that time St. David's was blazing a track with mainly St. David's Secondary, sorry, was blazing a track mainly with the females, and something had to be done for the boys in the community, the just a body to say it. We have to get together a body to like for everybody. So she was the one that came across with it. So and then the main people was St. David's secondary athletes that was training with the outside people, and majority of them was the athletes that past athletes from St. David's Sec. So I guess that's why normally people say St. David's Trailblazers is St. David's Sec. But I mean We do. We are part of St. David's Catholic Secondary School, but the St. David's Trailblazers is not St. David's Catholic Secondary.
And the Miss Ferguson you're referring to is principal of the
She
St.
was the
David's?
past principal of
Yeah, the
St.
past
David's.
principal
Mhm.
of the St. David's. Right. Okay. So thanks for that clarity there. Congrats to St. David's Trailblazers. My two nephews are members and coaches are doing extremely great with the youths in the area and outside the home of the club. So I guess as much there are folks who members of the St. Davis Trailblazers family, as you call them, that are watching and sending their best wishes to the club. And as Richie Oliver is one who's not living in St. David. I don't think he's living in St. David, but
Mm-mm.
he has his kids there. I don't think Simone is living in St. David. I'm not certain.
Mm-mm.
And her boys are also training in St. David.
You don't
With
miss
the
the
Trailblazers.
training.
Yeah, with the Trailblazers. And talking about don't miss a training. For you who has been a past athlete yourself and a training junkie, I will call you. How serious are the folks, the young ones who are participating, who are training? How serious are they? Are they well committed? Because sometimes I know with technology and all that's now, they can be easily distracted. But how committed are they to the training?
Um, Mikey, the since the parents is on board, the students they don't have a excuse not why not to be in the pasture. But the athletes they are fully committed. The athletes they reach out when they don't have a training. They reach out to find out when they come in. I had a parent. Normally, I think she changed her number and she was not in the group chat. She reached out to me and she was like my daughter here crying. She wants to know when training start, but the thing about the training has started back since last week. So I told her. So I met the daughter, and she was like, "Miss, well, you could have come in the school and tell me about training." And mind you, she's a primary school student. She was like, "Miss, you could have come in the school and tell me training start back." And I was like, "Oh no!" Like that's the level of commitment we our athletes have. I mean, there would be one or two athletes that wouldn't want to train ever so often and say that oh they got this to do, and mind you we have athletes that play football and they do track and field, they play cricket and they do track and field, so we won't get they won't be there fully, but our athletes I must say they are fully committed with our support, with their parents support. They are fully committed. I cannot complain on that.
Mhm. Kudos to you on that. Roger Augustin, good afternoon, Roger, and congratulations to the club and to the athletes who continue to be inspired to give it their all, especially in these covetous times. Um, and as you know, Roger is the father of Shanti Augustin, one of our top junior athletes, and he no doubt is hoping that there could be something. I know Roger is hungry for competition for his daughter. But Kwame is saying, Danisha, and I put it up a bit earlier, that and he's given basically some comfort to what
That they would.
yeah, he's given some comfort to Richie Oliver's announcement of the streaming, the invitational, and as a parent, you are not certain, but Kwame is saying in one form or the other
What
that
happened.
there will be. If there will be, um, what do you think will be necessary, will be needed to ensure that there is a successful meet? And we're saying that in the context of what is happening now. If there is to be a meet, I mean, you know, and again, I'm saying I'm not sure if there was any discussions to that extent, but let's say that there is the permission to have the meet. There's a go ahead to have the meet. What do you think? And then you can, probably just give your personal view. I will excuse you for that. In ensuring that there is a successful Trailblazers Invitational in 2021.
Well, from my point of view, I believe that if the meet was to happen, and I'm not sure when COVID would disappear, but COVID is still playing around with us. That I don't believe that we might have as much people being there to support us. But I believe in that case the sport would be streamed live.
Mhm.
Um, I believe there would be a lot of time finishes. So in a sense that we won't have all 8 athletes running in the lane at the same time. Most likely we'll have to take the fastest time to see who wins the race. Um, we have to go along with the protocols, the COVID protocols. So I'm not too sure how that would happen because I know for sure the athletes cannot run with masks. They cannot throw with the mask. They can't, those things can happen. So I believe that, since we go with the protocols where we keep our distancing and we go by the guidelines, everything should run smoothly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I tend to agree that once the organizers can ensure that they adhere to the protocols, especially for the athletes. I think that is an important aspect. Fans will have to understand and will have to, you know, appreciate that if there is a limit in terms of the number of people that can be at the grounds, then so be it. What is more important is having the competition for the athletes and ensuring that the athletes do have the competition. But as you said, once they provide the guidelines, I assume especially the Ministry of Health, they provide guidelines and they can the organizers can ensure that the athletes and officials adhere to the guidelines. There shouldn't be any problem. Roger is saying that I do hope the athletes get a couple opportunities to compete in some mini meets before a final meet so that they can get competition ready. Um, yes, I do know that there were plans to have some mini meets, but had to be canceled at the last minute um, because of, I think it would have been the outbreak. So once you all, behave yourself, once folks behave themselves and ensure that everything is intact, I think
Good, yeah.
you should be able to have something later on, whether it's February, March, April. Importantly, though, is do you know whether any of the schools in the parish um, are going ahead to have any of their scheduled track and field meet for this year?
No, not to my knowing. I'm not sure about any of anybody having any meat. I'm not. Mm-mm.
Okay. So therefore, in terms of the parish, it will be left up to the St. David's Trailblazers to have something for for competition for the athletes in the parish.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, we're getting ready to wrap up on the half hour. So I want to hear from you, Danisha, in a nutshell. What are some of the things that you're hoping that Trailblazers could accomplish or what in 2021? I don't know if based on your the meetings you all have been having, and especially looking at the pandemic and the restrictions and the prohibitions and all that the challenges are ahead of St. David's Trailblazers. What are you hoping to achieve in 2021?
Well, just to highlight a few things I said before, in 2021, we're looking at the extension of the gym. We're um, we're hoping to get all junior coaches
Um,
qualified.
just before you continue on that, I probably would have missed that part too because I wanted you to expand on that. Let me just take when you say to expand on the gym, on improving the gym, what exactly do you want to do? What exactly you intend to do regarding the gym?
But we're hoping at the way the gym is situated at the moment, there isn't enough space for the athletes. The club is growing, and we don't have enough space. I think our main issue at the moment is space. We don't have enough space at the gym, so we're hoping to get something bigger down there. As I said, we At the moment, we do have proper storage because we got the container sponsored by the Ministry of Sports. So we do have proper storage for our equipments. In the gym, there's only the weights, the racks and stuff. So the only thing we needed right now at the moment is the proper space for the athletes to accommodate the athletes and the people around that come and use the gym.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that information on the gym. So let's continue on what hoping to accomplish for 2021 after the gym.
Yes, we're hoping to get our junior athletes qualified as coaches. So we don't just see them as junior coaches, but we see them as coaches where they could be recognized in the world to say that, they could go out there and say, hey, I'm a level one coach, I'm a level two coach, I'm a level five coach, a multi athlete, I provide athletes out there. So, we're hoping that the athletes, well, not the athletes, the coaches could get qualified, the junior coaches. Mind you, all the junior coaches, they were past athletes, they were past character representatives. So the way things sort out in Grenada is like not everybody could get, their dream work. Not everybody could go out there and, become the lawyer, the doctor. And some of us we don't want to. We want to stay around sports. So we know we try to provide the opportunity for them. And we know sooner or later there would be more athletes coming out and, want to get into it. So hopefully that, we could develop a program out of it that we train our athletes to, pass on their knowledge as well. Um, Other than that, we hope to extend, as I said, extend our scholarship program where we extend it to the primary school level because we have a number of primary school athletes coming up to train. And mind you, they're doing big things. We have as young as 5-year-olds, so we're hoping to extend it to that level. Um, what again? We're hoping to get more athletes go out on scholarships where so it won't just be you finish secondary school and that's it for you. We're hoping that we could at least train them in such a way that they come out top athletes and they would be recognized by the recruiters so that they'll be able to get their scholarships. Where education wise, where remember as I said, we're not just athletes but they're student athletes. So one thing I must say, Coach Paul, um, Mr. Hippolyte, Miss Victor, Miss Williams, myself, we don't play around when it comes to the education wise because we always see it as you can't just be shining out there and you don't know it. And mind you, not everybody gonna know it all, but you have to be able to. Let's take for example to do an interview. Sometimes you hear athletes doing an interview, and the way they do the interview, you'll be like, whoa. So we try to do as much as we can to develop our athletes. So education wise, to do the interviews, as I said, we so all these are things that we're hoping to accomplish. Last year we had, well, every year we do have a retreat, and thank God for we were able to, when we got the little open up, we were able to have a retreat last year. And out of the retreat, I must say that we have accomplished a few things. So I'm hopefully going forward that we're gonna continue with our retreat and we're gonna have athletes, doing good things from our retreat because when we go to the retreat, we forget everything about the track and we focus on developing yourself on a whole to, or your way forward. Where do you see yourself? What can you improve? And then we reach back. I think the only thing that we really focus on there, the only question that we really, ask pertaining to track is how can the club do something, like how can the club benefit them more? What can the club do to better their well-being and stuff. But other than that, we look out for our athletes. And in a nutshell, that's basically it. That's mostly our plans for 2021. As Mr. Ippolit said, so I just got confirmation that there would be a Track Blazers invitational. So that is one of the main highlights. And as he said that there would be a Track Blazers invitational, I would say there will be a Marvin John road race, East Side road race. So you can look out for that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, well, don't forget to add Hazel's recommendation or suggestion
Mhm.
of a virtual tutoring to the your shopping list for 2021,
For
because
sure.
I think this is something that can start yesterday,
Yeah.
because it's once you put the mechanism in place, it's something that easy that can follow up, and I'm certain that Hazel will follow up on that and ensure, because I think it's important, it is crucial, and that St. David's Trailblazers and others take advantage of such an opportunity. It's an opportunity that's there now. It's a platform that's there, and there's no doubt that you should be able to take advantage of that. And you never know, probably a year from now, we might be able to point to this program that would have given the opportunities rather to some of your student athletes, providing them with the tutoring and providing them with the information that can, change their lives, Danisha, on a personal note, I want to thank you for being part of the program, because know how difficult it is to get people to speak about, you know, their organizations. And um, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm sort of disappointed with some of the folks who take up um, positions, and I have no regrets for saying that. They take up positions in organizations, especially sporting organizations, and their mantra is that of being committed. And they hear all the nice words, and for some reason, probably a month, 2 months after, you know you can't hear anything from them. And I want to thank you for taking up the opportunity, the challenge. You did pretty well, I must say. um, and I'm just hoping that you know we can get more of our administrators, those who say they are committed and take up positions, to provide the information to the public. That's the only way the public will buy into you and will want to provide assistance and want to help. I mean, Hazel, for example, is hearing of how she can provide assistance and provide, and suggesting how she can provide. Rudion is asking, for example. Rudion is based in Canada, and he's as a former athlete and now a coach, he's asking how we can assist, and that's only how we can know, what is happening. And people have to be willing to, to speak. They have been willing to provide information. They have been willing, to be, you know, transparent is the word I want to use. Sorry about that, transparent. But I want to thank you for taking up that offer, and I'm hoping that others, and I can see the potential in terms of being an administrator, and we trying to encourage the young people to position themselves into leadership positions,
Hmm.
because there comes a time when those who are there will have to make way for the young ones, but we want to ensure that the young ones are positioning themselves, and it's not just a matter of waiting for the
Hmm.
opportunity. It's putting yourself in a position, as we indicated, where some of the coaches, the junior coaches, for example, are understudying Paul Phillip, for example. That to me is part of the process. It's continuity. And I want to thank you for that. Let me see if I can probably add some of the comments before we wrap up there. Richie is saying the COVID committee had a meeting with the different sporting bodies last week and outlined the protocol. So the ball is in the court of the different bodies. So it's glad to know that the committee has already met with those
Yeah.
sporting bodies, and they know what they have to do. So they now have to plan. So I assume that is where Kwame is coming from in terms of making
Yeah.
that
Same.
commitment. Yeah. I'm so proud of you, Denisha, on a job well done. I want to say that myself too. We are very grateful for such wonderful information. Um, Going by your old name, Miss
Miss
Francis.
Francis.
you know,
I know.
good. going by your old name, Miss Francis, yes, there's a lot of potential. Yes, you know, forgive me for harping on that, you know. And I said, I know, you know me, I say it as it is, you know.
Yeah.
I bash when I had to bash, and I know some people probably do not like when I have to question them because I go on the side of facts. And if they do not, if you put yourself in a position, and sports in Grenada is generally voluntary. So when you take up these positions, you have to understand the role that you're playing. Okay. And if you do not want to, you know, be transparent, and you do not want to provide information, you don't want to you know, do what you say you want to do and show your commitment,
Yeah.
then step aside and give others an opportunity. So once again, thank you. Congratulations to you and Trailblazers for what you have done, what you have achieved, what you've accomplished, and what you plan to do. And I'm you know, repping for you, you know, that the next time probably I'm speaking to you not as the athlete rep, but as something else
I know.
in something else in a larger, you know, in a larger setting, you know. I want to thank you for that. I will add resume writing, how to conduct an interview, and so many more to the development will definitely reach out. Yeah. So that is an important part that is also for some of those student athletes, you know, who may
Yeah.
not be looking forward to probably continue with the track, but you know, job hunting, for example. How do you write a resume, for example? How do you conduct an interview? Yeah, all these things are important. So you have a lot in store in terms of core curricular activities for Trailblazers Club, and I thank you for that. And I'm really hoping that other clubs, and I say clubs because we have too many teams. We
I
have
know.
too many. Yeah, we have too many teams in
Mm.
Grenada, and teams in the sense of you just have what you call a captain and a vice captain, and that's it. And you believe that you know you're serving a purpose. We need proper club structures, and hopefully, um, in the near future, it can move from St. David's Trailblazers to some other name that you suggested, because you know it's moving away, not just you know track and field, it's encompassing, as you say, the cricketers. You might have basketballers, you know,
Yeah.
you have the referee, for example, you
Mm.
know, referee slash athlete. You have the athlete slash cricketer, you know. You have those who play netball, you know.
You have the
Those who
volleyballers. You have every.
Right, volleyballers, multi-talented like Letitia Collimo, who played football, plays netball, plays volleyball, you know, all these things. So Trailblazers may have to reconsider the name Trailblazers, that can really encompass everyone, because it's providing something that is badly needed, and all wrong, you know, and all wrong services, I should say. The co-curricular activities, the on the field, you know, the physical aspect in terms of gym work, etc. The contribution to the community, you know, with the hampers, you know, all these things are important ingredients in terms of development. And from me, I want to convey that to Trailblazers through you.
Yeah.
Thank you once again, Danisha. Before we leave, any parting words from you?
Well, just as the athletes rep, I must say thank you to everyone for their continuous support. Thank you parents, thank you well wishers. We at Trailblazers, we believe in doing our best, and we don't provide nothing but the best. And you know, we're welcoming any words, in a sense that, you know, if you think that we're slacking in some area, we're open to anything you tell us, and you know, we try our best to do what's best. We look out for our athletes, and you know, there's as much as we could do. So we're hoping that you, the family of Trailblazers, could also look out for them as well. And thank you very much, as I said, for your continuous support.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you also. I really appreciate you coming on to the program and providing the information. Thank you very much, Danisha.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Right. So that's Danisha. Brathwaite, providing us with lots of information regarding St. David's Trailblazers, and as indicated, they also want to extend thanks to Dr. Earl Brathwaite with his Petner Foundation, as well as Home Pride Bakery at Wester Hall. They are the main sponsors of the St. David's Trailblazers, and no doubt they have been providing human service to the community, not just track and field, but in other ways possible. So as we indicated that the focus will be on the clubs and proper club structures and how they organize, how they go about. And we started with the St. David's Trailblazers. We're hoping to continue with some other clubs, including even the Royal Grenada Police Force Sports Club. They do have a sports club. We have made contact with them. We're hoping to have them because they too, it's well structured. They have an executive committee. They participate in football, netball, cricket, and that is what we're trying to encourage. The proper sports club structure rather, and where we can move away from just the teams and we can have clubs and we can have the functioning clubs whereby we can produce, competent sports administrators, and not just people who are captain of a team and believe that because you're the captain of the team, you can become the president of an association. And, you do not have meetings, you do not, you don't have a proper structure. So what it is are you bringing to the national federation? And that's my concern. And that, to me, has been the major concern over the years regarding sports and sports development in Grenada. It's not so much with performance. I think our athletes, and when I say athletes, sportsmen and sportswomen, they are committed. They go out there and perform to the best. But sometimes our administrators, it starts with our administrators and lack thereof, I should say, because I don't want to call some of them administrators. Some of them are just in it for the high five, for the trips, for whatever it takes, and not really committed, because they go in there and they do not provide any meaningful contribution to the development of the sport. Some of them go in there and within a month is, as you say, quote unquote, bacchanal, and all sorts of foolishness you're hearing, they carrying on. They came in there to destroy and to mash up this, and come on, no. We have to get serious, and I will wish that there's a vetting process so that when people put themselves up for, even though it's voluntary, that there's a vetting process to ensure that the best and the people who are really bringing something meaningful to the table are elected, and not just because someone makes the most noise in a meeting that you believe that person. And listen, what I'm telling you there is no joke. I have seen it, especially with football. I have attended council meetings of the Grenada Football Association. And there are folks who came, persons who will attend the meeting, representing their teams, not their clubs, their teams, because they don't have any structure. They don't even have meetings with their membership. But they come to the council meetings and they make the most noise. They this, they that, they everything they against, and they this, that, and the other. And some people believe that because this person making the most noise, that person is a good candidate for president, a good candidate for an executive member. I've seen it happen. And don't you know that I have watched that over the years. Remember, I've been involved for the past 30 years, in sports. And I've seen, and it's Grenada sports in particular, and I have seen some of them make their way onto the executive. And pure disaster. Come on, we can't continue with that, in sports in Grenada. No, we can't continue with that in sports in Grenada. We have to get serious. Sports administration has to be serious because ultimately is our sportsmen and sportswomen who are being affected, because there's a lot of puppy show that's going on with sports administration in Grenada, whether it's football, netball, cricket, a lot of them going on there, and they're not making any contribution. No contribution. You have meetings, and if they attend the meeting, they just attend the meeting because they have to, and they do not make a contribution. So sometimes it appears as if there's a dictatorship. It appears that if there's a dictatorship in terms of the leadership with the president, but the president has to do everything. I mean, an example with the last executive of the Grenada Netball Association, I was sorry for Sister Glennis Roberts, because some of them were claiming this, that, and the other, but when time to do something, they're not showing up. So she has to do everything, even down to taking minutes. She's the president, but she has an executive, and people not doing what they're supposed to do, but then they're saying all sorts of things. But, I have seen and in some ways assisted Sister Roberts in terms of getting things for the association, getting things for the team. And some of them don't even know how these things happen because the people who provided the assistance do not want to be mentioned. But things are happening. And in return, all they're doing is just slapping the lady in her face. They're saying all sorts of things. I'm here, I've heard about it, and I'm saying, I just shake my head and say, that is what we come to. That is what sports in Grenada has come to. Now we have to do better than that. We have to do better than that. Yeah, we have to do better than that. Let me just wrap up with some of the comments from some of the folks who have been. Thank you for your comments there. Yeah, so right. Yeah, Rudian, I know you out there and you have been trying to get information, trying to assist, and and that is what is happening. Alana, so true for some, they are in it to see how they can benefit from it and not how they can help the athletes develop. They are in it for what they can gain from it, Martin. Yes, and Rudian is saying, we do need a change in Grenada sports community. Yeah, we have been saying that for quite a while, and I think there must be some sort of introspect, and whether on the National Association's point of view, whether it's football, whether it's athletics, whether it's cricket, netball, I'm not singling out anyone, that the clubs, the membership, they have to get serious. I know of associations that have attempted to bring their constitution, for example, up to date, and they can't get members to make a contribution or to even attend a meeting to ratify a constitution. Come on, a constitution. You can't get members to ratify that, to sit down and discuss and come up with something that can guide the association. But on the flip side, there are a lot of them who are making noise about who should travel with team and who should be this and who should be that, who should be manager. I'm telling you, that's football is one that football is one that is guilty as charged. They're fighting about who should be this and who should be that and who should this, that, and the other and things like that. So you ask yourself, so wait, that is what you went in there for? Or you went in there to assist in the development of football? That should be the least thing on your mind. If it comes around, yeah, it comes around. But you shouldn't be quarreling about this and, making issue with that. Give whatever support you have to give to, the executive committee. Bring things up. Bring things on the table that can assist in the development. How are you reporting back to your constituents? How often do you have meetings to update your membership? Even before a meeting, you have the agenda, but have you discussed it with your membership so that when you come to the meeting, you come in with comments, you come in with feedback from your membership? When you come out from a meeting, are you returning to a meeting? Are you ensuring that you have a meeting to some extent to update your membership of what took place or what was reported or what, what developments from the national level? Or is it that situation where they're hearing it on the radio, on the TV? These are the things I'm telling you, it's serious. It's that serious. My hope is that this pandemic would have provided an opportunity where people can really sit back and analyze and ensure that in going forward, they can probably do better. You know, Rudian, we do need a change. I'm telling you that we do need a change. And as you say, it makes it hard for people to help in any way possible because, you want to, but when you think about it, it's that terrible. Simon Ross, I have seen the same netball lady you speak of stand up all by herself and fry and sell bakes and whatever she could raise funds so her netball team could travel. She just never seemed to have too much support. We'll say a lot about that, In fact, she'll be on our program on Thursday. She will be on our program on Thursday to talk about, her commitment and what she has been doing. She's no longer the president. She's, in fact, the immediate past president. There's a new president. Congratulations to you, Miss Alison Miller, who is the new president of the Grenada Netball Association. But Sister Glenys Roberts, she has made a contribution, and we'll be speaking with her in terms of the achievement. Grenada played international netball for the first time in many years. They won the ranking, And as Simone is saying, Glenys took it on her own at times when no one wanted to do it. She did it herself, And surprisingly, some of them are saying the worst thing about the lady now, about she wants to do this and do that and control it. No, nobody wants to do it. But when she starts to do it, you're hearing all sorts of things. Shame on you folks, and there will come a time when you'll be exposed, But as you say, that's all I want to say for now. And the hope is that 2021 could be a turning period for sports in Grenada, especially with sports administrators and sports administration in general. There need to be a new thinking, and it cannot be the same old khaki pants. We need probably, to some extent, we probably need new minds. And as I'm suggesting, there needs to be a vetting process where people can go through this, be vetted before they take up these positions, even though it's voluntary, they can be vetted because in the final analysis, it's our sportsmen and sportswomen who are being affected. On a final note, just a bit, as I indicated, a bit of sadness, some word out from Kirani that his coach, that's Coach Harvey Glantz, his mom passed away today, and we want to extend condolences to Coach Harvey Glantz and family, and also to Kirani James, who is part of the extended family. Coach Harvey has adopted Kirani and adopted Grenada as a home, and no doubt we'd want to extend condolences to Coach Harvey Glantz, as we heard that his mom has passed away. Folks, I want to thank you for being part of the program this weekend. As I indicated, we'll be continuing with the sports discussion, the clubs, the proper club structures, the organizations, how they have been functioning, what they have been doing, the contribution they've been making. No doubt St. David's Trailblazers has been, as we say, blazing the track. They have made their contribution to the development of sports, not just in the parish of St. David, but to Grenada, including the current world champion in the javelin, and also that's Anderson Peters, and the current Commonwealth Games champion in the decathlon, Lyndon Victor. and they have had a number of former athletes who have come through the ranks of the St. David's Trailblazers, and we want to congratulate them. And as indicated, that you can look out for the St. David's Trailblazers Invitational sometime in 2021. Thank you very much, folks. Don't forget, you can join us on Thursday at 6:30 Eastern Caribbean time, which is 7:30. 6:30 Eastern time, which is 7:30 Eastern Caribbean time, for 1 hour segment of TalkSports. And on the program this coming Thursday will be the immediate past president of the Grenada Netball Association, Sister Glennis Roberts. I want to thank you, and thank you all the folks for being part of the program. Thank you, Rudian. Thank you, Simone, Hazel, Roger, Augustine, Richie, and others. Thank you very much for being part of the program. And I want to thank Danisha Brathwaite for being our guest and representing St. David's Trailblazer. Until then, until Thursday to be exact, you stay safe.